Hey, Christy.
What's shaking, Kelly? Happy Friday.
It's Podcast Friday. I know you love it when I say that. You made it through another week. You're almost to the weekend.
I mean, I'm hosting a birthday party tonight for two of my siblings for like 25 people, and I still haven't made what I'm making, but it'll be fine. Everything's gonna be great.
It'll be fine. It's totally aligned to our topic today because I'm sure you've planned more than just what one thing you're making is for this party. You're probably hosting the whole goddamn thing and everything. So today we're talking mental load and mom rage. And I think if you're anyone who's ever whispered, I fucking hate everyone while you're folding towels, this episode is for you.
So, yeah, mental load, invisible work, and the rage that comes when no one else gets it, I think. You know, it's like we do so much that happens up in our brains. That's a lot of work that others around us don't see happening.
Exactly. It's all those spontaneous science projects that everyone else in the family forgot about that leave you weeping in the carpool lane.
Welcome to Vertically Unstable, where the only thing more unstable than our moods is our Wi-Fi.
Yeah, most days, which is probably also our responsibility to make sure we check. And the only person who knows the password to it is mom.
Fair. I know the passwords to everything. Actually, I don't. That's a big issue. Like, I'm constantly like, just get my face in here so that I never get my face ID. Funny thing about Wi-Fi, quick story before we dive into everything. I used to work for AT&T, and I worked in downtown Dallas at like where Golden Boy is, like the global headquarters. And my Wi-Fi never worked. And I was like, how are we connecting the whole freaking world? But I can't get Wi-Fi at our corporate headquarters.
We have the worst
rage.
Cell signal. We have the worst cell signal here in Irvine. I'm like, Silicon Valley is just up the road from us, basically. How I have no fucking cell signal is beyond me. I'm like walking around the house like, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Jesus Christ. Anyways, that's off topic. What's it
funny?
First thing we should call this. So, who's the CEO of your household?
Do you want to go first, Kelly? Who's the CEO of your household, Kelly?
Oh my God, did we even need to ask this? It's me.
No.
It's a combo role, CEO and CFO and COO and dog walker. How about you? Who's the CEO of your household?
Well, so I'm a single mom. So I'm the CEO, CMO, CCO, COO, Chief Technology Officer, licensed therapist, finder of all things. And I'm also an octopus. For example, I took my kids last night to the pool. I wanted to take them to like our little pool near us. They wanted to go to the big pool with all the slides and all the crap. And so I was like, fine, we'll do it. On the way in, of course, my bag that weighs 45, the strap breaks. Fantastic. So I'm carrying it, not going to be irritated. I'm going to stay in the moment with my children. And then we get there and I'm like, okay, here are the rules. Well, they just missed them completely. So at one point I was looking for my kids for 10 minutes, which there's lots of lifeguards, but like, again, just terrifying as a mom.
Drowning wasn't your concern. Maybe thievery, sex trafficking.
Or like, maybe I'll never see them again. Like, did they just vaporize? Like, I could not find these kids. Yeah. And so anyways, we're walking out and I'm carrying this 45-pound bag. It's also hotter than hell out. I mean, it's like muggy. There's no breeze. Like, it's just that hot that just sticks to you. And Colton is unwrapping his ice cream sandwich that they had to have on the way out. And I'm carrying this bag with my two hands and it's like 45 pounds. And I'm like, engage your core,
So don't burst your surgical strip.
Yeah, right? And Colton takes the wrapper off this ice cream sandwich and like holds it out to me and he's like, Mom, take this. I'm like, serenity now. I was like, hey, buddy, I don't have another hand.
Yeah.
How about you throw it in the trash right over there?
Dear God, because Colton is probably like, I don't know where the garbage is. It's easier for me to hand to Mom because Mom's probably spied where everything is, where are the bathrooms, where's the garbage, and I can hand it to her. And I don't have to think for one fucking second. This is
without the F word. I would hope that's not going through his head yet. It might be because he is my child, but we'll see.
Yeah, if you're not sure if you're the CEO, a good litmus test is probably if you know your kid's teacher's Starbucks order and your partner doesn't even know who your kid's teacher is, you might be the CEO. There is a hilarious comic, Nate Bargatze. I don't know if you've seen his Netflix specials. He is the one of the only clean comics.
I love
So
him.
no swearing. We went to see him here in LA. He was amazing. But he does a bit about the school calling him. And his bit is like he's like, okay, so on the in case of emergency contact list, you skipped past the mom and you thought, I'll call him? I guess the kid had forgot their lunch or something and they needed someone to bring the lunch to school and they called the dad and he's like, okay, just tell me what school they're at. I'll be right over.
What's your address?
It's the most, I'm doing him a grave injustice, but it is a great skit and so relatable. Dear God, I don't even know if I asked my hubby, God love him, kids' teachers' names from years ago, the monumental ones, he remembers one, but no more than that. God almighty.
Bless you, Andrew.
I
I bet he
know.
sleeps great too.
I would imagine it's a quiet, serene place to sleep in that head. Here's the thing I think about mental load. You said it earlier. I think that there's a belief that the mental load are the tasks, right? The dentist appointment, blah, 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 blah. It's not so much about the task as it is about the organization and the thought required behind the task.
Yes, ma'am.
So, so for us, it's not making like taking the kids to the dentist. Yay, you did a thing. It's not even just that. It's remembering that they need to go to the dentist, that they last went to the dentist 9 months ago, who their fucking dentist is, to book it on the calendar, and then to remind your husband to take the kids to the dentist. Like that is the silent work that's in our minds that is just omnipresent. I would like to offload it. You can't offload it.
Well, I mean, I can. I just have to pay people, but not the mental load. No, 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 absolutely not. It's funny. A long time ago, I had work was just insane. And this is going to make me sound like a little princess, but I was working like 12 hours a day and I will not outsource my children, meaning I don't want anyone else watching my kids when I have time with them. Like, whatever, that's my time. That's it. And it's getting less and less by the day. So, but I had a woman come in and I thought she'd like solve all my problems. Like she came in a few times a week to like go grocery shopping, cook, clean, just do the things that like I would be doing the tasks. And you know what I found out? It was actually more exhausting to have her because I had to tell her everything that was in my head.
Yeah, you have to actually verbalize or write out the to-do list. And sometimes you're like, it would just be easier for me to just get going on it than someone. So I
100%. And I got really frustrated and like, why can't you do this? You're a mom. Like you should, you know what I'm saying? Like it just was one of those things where it's like, I can't outsource my brain and all the things that I know that need to happen.
yeah.
And if you ask me to think through all the things that I need to know happen and write them down, I'm not really a list person. I need to be a list person, but like, I won't, I'll be like, I don't know.
Well, I think
How much time you got?
yeah, I think one of the best examples of mental load is actually if you watch a woman try to go to the bed or the bathroom, because then it is a physical manifestation of what's in your mind. I'll give you an example. Last night, we were watching a show and there was in between episodes, I was like, oh, I have to go pee. And so I go through the kitchen and on the way through the kitchen, I take my plate or whatever I had in the living room as you do, or at least as I do. And so instead of putting in the sink, I opened the dishwasher and I was like, fuck, there's room in the dishwasher. So then you're just doing the dishwasher thing. And then one of the things on the counter was the tamper for the coffee maker. And this is like 9 p.m. And I'm like, oh, I should set the coffee maker up for tomorrow morning. So I'm over at the coffee maker and then, oh, fuck, I need to refill the water. And I'm doing all of this. And Andrew's like, I thought you were going pee. And I'm like, I was going pee. But this is what happens when you carry the responsibility. And sometimes you just taskmaster all the thing. If I had to write it out, I don't want to. And quite frankly, here's my beef. And this is not an anti-men episode.
No.
I do think men in particular are doing way more than they used to. I'm sure they're all doing more than their dads did or their grandparents did.
100%.
but we're not talking about the tasks. I don't need a partner for whom I can give a list to. I need this, and this. I need a partner who can anticipate that, hey, I am going to the grocery store. I'm going to check in the fridge to see if there's anything that's going to run out. Like, hey, the ketchup has probably got 5 days left in it. Or, like I need somebody who is looking forward like I do on the way to the bathroom to do the coffee and the dishes without being told. But that's my little beef.
Know if what you just described to go to the bathroom and everything you did on the way is mental load or ADHD.
Shit.
Um,
I'm gonna go with
just
mental load for now.
okay. Well, I was like, you were describing, I was like, well, I'm highly ADD and like that sounds like my life. Like there's like a bunch of half finished tasks because I get distracted with something else. I once let the bathtub completely overflow. I'd wash the dog. Yay
Okay.
me. I'd wash the
Yes.
dog. And then I was going into the kitchen to start making dinner, but I wanted to, so I put bleach in the tub and then was filling it with water. And I'm sure Presley or Colton or someone, like, I mean, I'm sure I got 25 billion distractions. And all of a sudden I'm standing at the sink washing vegetables and I was like, damn it.
No.
And it was flooded, like my bathroom. And I was like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Which led to another complete mess and whatever. And, I'm just like, so again, there's mental load, but I think the mental
You're like,
load
let me go see somebody about your
makes the ADHD worse. Because and then I have to do this, and then there's this, and then, oh my God,
yeah.
hold on, what is happening with this? And, my kids play sports too. So like just figuring out the week schedule and like who's doing what. And even, I'm recently unmarried, but even with their dad, right? Like figuring unmarried, like
It's like unalived. It's not dead. It's unalived. It's unmarried.
it's called divorce. Okay. I'll say the big D word. But anyways, even when I'm working with their dad, right? Like I'm the one who gathers all the schedules and I put them, actually Skylight. Here's a shout out for Skylight, ladies. I love it. It's amazing. It's like a virtual whiteboard for your house and it goes to your phone and your kids can look at it. So if they can read, they can see what the hell is going on that week. And it also, I need to be paid for this one, but it also transcribes, I send my PDFs that I get from my school, which we'll talk about school communication here in a minute, directly to it. And it pulls the dates out and what they are and populates the calendar.
It reads your school emails for you?
It reads my school emails. Now, it doesn't always get it right.
I don't care. Neither do I. I would pay. Now, I don't need to anymore, but in the day, I would pay a platform to read those fucking things. It's a diatribe, honestly.
Well, I do. And what's really hard for me, and I have to say this, my kids go to a public school that is at 10. It is one of the best schools in the state. It is fantastic. The teachers are amazing. Like, I mean, just amazing people. And they're great. And they're great with my kids. And my kids are way smarter than I was at their age, which I don't think was a very high mark. But anyways,
I feel
man, I'm like, can I go teach a class on communication? Can we start with the bullets of what you need to do? Like, hey, here's what bullet 1, Monday, this, Tuesday, this. Like, put every action item at the very top.
Yes.
And for those that want to know more, read on.
Read below. Just don't make me tease it out of a paragraph.
Don't make
tell me.
God, please. Like, let's learn bullets, people. And our teachers are already way underpaid and overstressed and overworked. But like, I think it would be easier. Just write a bullet. You don't have to make it friendly or funny or whatever. Just like, please, just give me some bullets.
You don't need to greet me in a kind way. Just get to the point. What form do I need to fill out? What fucking check do I have to write? And where does my kid need to be picked up? I always loved the forms that were repeats. And I had 3 kids in school at the same time. And bless my children for being athletic. But every single sport, every single meet, there was the same fucking form. Put their social, their health insurance, their date of birth. You already have this. I don't want to fill out. You know what I started to do? Photocopy. No date on it. photocopy. No of sport or event, just their name and all the details. And then as new things came in, I'm like, here, use this one. And I just volleyball, May 2025. And I'm not filling that fucking form out anymore. Or I would just passive aggressively write on file.
Well, here's what I'm going to say about that. First of all, photocopy, does anyone do that anymore?
Okay, my kids are a little older, and it was a yeah, bitch.
Sorry. Did you just call me a bitch?
You call me old.
No. Did I call you old, or did I say, who does that anymore?
That was implied.
Okay.
Go on.
In my mental load list of things, am my daughter's premier soccer team manager, admin, momager, whatever, that I got told to do.
And couldn't say no to.
Because I literally, the coach called me up and he's like, yeah, I got nobody else. And Adam said, you'd be really good at it. And I was like, every time I see Adam, he had been our admin the year before. I'm like, hey, what's up? I hate your guts.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was actually in Chicago on a work trip, and coach called me to see if I would do it again the next year. My friend Jacqueline, who works with me, she's like yelling. She's like, no, she will not do it. She does not have the time. No. Yeah. This is no. And he's like, Christy, he's a lovely Englishman. He's like, I'd have to train someone new all over again. And I'm just like, damn it, Dave. I'm like, okay, but next year he doesn't even coach the year she'll be next year. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it ever again. Anywho, going back to all of the forms and things.
Yes.
Competitive sports now, like I have to carry a binder with me to every single game.
For the other kids or just for your own kid?
No, for the team.
As the manager.
With everybody's waivers in there, with their copies of their birth certificate in case, it's serious shit. Like, we need to see how old that one is. She looks a little too big to be playing in 2014. It's ridiculous. So, and then the player cards, you have to have actual laminated player cards with it is insanity.
This feels like a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice situation that you got yourself into. Stop being good at it. Stop being good at it.
I wasn't. I was terrible. I actually almost had a nervous breakdown. I can't let kids down. Literally, yeah, okay, you have a bad presentation, you disappointed a bunch of adults. Who fucking cares? But you tell your kids to go to the wrong field and you're 20 miles away and you're supposed to be somewhere else, and a bunch of 9-year-olds are looking at you that never happened. But I would wake up the night before a game at 2 a.m. and be I would go in and recheck the schedule versus what I had put in the team app. And by the way, just while I'm on this, all of the apps for team sports suck. They are from a decade ago and they're not optimized. And when you take someone who, I work in business, everything I touch, I pay for and is optimized. And then you make that person go back to 10 years ago, a website that was built 10 years ago that literally makes zero sense. The user experience is terrible. I one time before a tournament had to drive to our soccer headquarters with my laptop because I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to do the registration after 25 minutes. And then guess what? I got there and the club's admin, it took her 15 minutes. This is insane. So anyone who wants to make some money, I don't know how you get about doing this, but redoing all of those apps and websites, I do that for a living, but I don't know that I want to touch it.
I didn't want to volunteer you to do more work, but it feels intuitive to me that maybe you could solve your own problem.
Yeah, I think I just had a business idea, Kelly.
Did you just write that down on your
I am writing it down.
Christy's make note, add to the mental load, fix the platforms.
Hey, listen, but if they pay me for it, it's a different mental load.
You're okay with it's the unpaid, unseen work. This is that lethal combination of exhaustion and then just feeling unappreciated that leads to fucking rage, right? When you're doing it, and as a mom, I'm guilty of doing things and sort of passive aggressively letting people know I'm doing them. You close the door extra loud on the cupboards or the dishwasher door so people know I'm emptying the dishwasher. Those are the things when you're doing a bunch of separate stuff that nobody seems to notice, that you start to just build this bubbling rage that no doubt will express itself in an inopportune time in a very unladylike way.
I mean, if you haven't lost it on your kids, like, I need to know who you are, what sort of saint this people are, because I'm pretty good. Like, I can be like, hey, they're little, they're 10 and 6,
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
morons, it's fine. But sometimes I'm like what my kid's life is like versus what my life was like growing up is like a total opposites. Like,
Yes.
I want to be my daughter. My God,
I
like,
know. I
she
know.
has like it made. And I'm like, and then when you get the ungrateful shit, I'm just like, you little asshole. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't say that to her. I don't cuss at my kids. I have cried loudly in front of them before.
I think that, I mean, on many episodes ago, we talked about my eat your fucking quiche explosion at the dinner table on my daughter, which was probably not the best expression of my rage. But I'm with you. I think that mine spills out as tears more than anything. And I don't think that I do it to lay guilt, like, because nobody likes to see their mom cry and nobody really likes to make their mom. So I'm not doing it on purpose to make them feel bad, but it does come out as tears.
Well, it's funny because tears is a way your body releases stress, right? It's always
Yeah,
seen as weakness.
yeah,
And we talked about this, I think, at one point, rage
yeah,
tears.
yeah.
And,
Brain murder tears for sure.
but literally, and also pair that with perimenopause, which I'm in now. So, like, I wake up a different person every single day. And I have to, like,
You're surprising yourself. Who am I today?
I'm like, open my eyes and I'm like, shit, she's back. Okay, we got to hide her from the kids. Let's just get the kids to school. Let's just get them to school. Just keep smiling. Just keep smiling. Just keep swimming. Just
I'll
keep
cry
swimming.
later.
There have been so many times that I'm like, bye, kids. Love you. Get out of the car. And then I'm like, they close the door. I'm like, crying. Fucking, I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then
I
getting
hear
my
ya.
shit together for a meeting.
You're like, I
Happens
got this.
right after. I'm like, hold on. I got to talk cardiology. I got to talk something.
Excuse me, I have to put my big girl pants on for a quick second and then
Just
I'll
a
go back
minute.
to this. Just give me a second.
My trick with being on Zoom, if I've been crying, because I'm not a pretty crier, I envy those people that are. I am not. My face turns red. I get all scrunched up. It's just not pretty. I mean, it's just not a pretty sight. And my eyes get real red. And so I bought blue light fashion glasses and I use them sometimes. I use these sometimes when I actually need them for like my head.
Yeah.
But sometimes I wear them so you can't see the red puffiness in my eyes. I've been bawling my eyes out before a meeting and I just locked it up 2 minutes ago.
Okay, put them on. I need to see the.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen you in these. Okay, I love it. Oh, and they have enough of a reflection glare that you can't really catch it. Okay.
Yep. And sometimes I do a really dark red lip. So people are just distracted by
They
that
just
and the
look at your
glasses.
mouth. You're like the Yankees in the stripes on their uniform. You're like, look over here. Don't look up here.
Hey, I work in marketing and advertising. We got to you need to show people where their eyes need to rest. And if my eyes are red, we're going to do everything to distract from that. Everything.
Okay, we need to find the equivalent red lipstick for the things in our world that are part of our mental load that would draw attention to the other people in the house to get some shit done. I will say my daughter, and I'm wondering if maybe this is just an innate female ability or it's been burned into us, nurture. But my daughter is much better at anticipating things than my sons ever were, as it relates to things that would, constitute mental load. Like I noticed we were running out of this and I was going to Target anyways, so I grabbed that. Like, and I've not taught her that. She's just that way, which I'm like, interesting. How can I translate that to the Y chromosome, folks? Because I could really use the help.
I don't know. I just am thankful. And this is terrible because I love to support small business and want to save the environment. But Amazon saves my life on a daily basis.
I know.
I'm like, oh, we have one thing of paper towels left. Order.
Yeah.
We have one thing of this left. Order.
I know.
But I
also love that Amazon's like, you last ordered this on X. Do you need to refill it? I'm like, You bet your ass I do. I don't
Well,
have to go searching. What was that toilet paper I got that I really liked? Oh yeah, there it is. Love.
you buy different toilet paper every time?
Well, I'd like to just buy what's on
Just switch
sale.
it up?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's toilet. Yes. I don't even know how to answer you. I will admit, though, I did order some toilet paper on Amazon one time that is now affectionately known as prison paper in this house because it is so one ply and terribly thin. And for some reason, a roll lasts a fucking decade. I don't understand.
No one wants to use it because it hurts their bum.
Exactly. So we still have it like on the shelf, and that's the trigger. My husband will notice that. He'll be like, "Oh, by the way, we only have prison paper left." That you notice. Any other time you wouldn't say I should go get some fucking toilet paper. But if you're gonna have to wipe your butt with that stuff, you're like sandpaper alert.
Yeah, I'm a Charmin kid all the way. Mama Bear, love her. That's what I get every time. So trying to offload your mental load, right? When you start to
Yeah.
hack your way through things.
Yeah.
Speaking of Amazon, and you ordered this last, I got in the trap of subscribe and save.
Okay. How do you know what the right timing is though?
Well, there's that piece of it. And then there's also that there's 25 billion tabs open in my head. And when I'm like, oh shit, we're out of toilet paper, and I hit order, I don't have like, it's like, it should be easy, right? Just go look and see if it's in your subscribe and order. But like, that takes an extra like 2 minutes that I like can't focus on because my phone's blowing up with emails from the school and work and texts
Exactly.
and hey,
Well, I mean, you can never have too much toilet paper. You can, however, have too many frozen peas, which is the situation I am now in.
okay,
So
how did you
sometimes
get so many frozen peas, Kelly?
I don't know. I think I kept forgetting that I'd already ordered them. Every time I open the freezer, I'm like, I don't even know what I can make. I guess I can make mushy peas and fish and chips or something. I'm like, I don't even know what I can make that will get rid of all of these frozen. Maybe somebody will twist an ankle and then come give me a call. Got some frozen peas for you.
Well, actually, Kelly, we're serving frozen peas tonight with along with my grandma's casserole.
Bitches
Old
casserole.
bitches casserole. I did not name it that. I don't know who did, but they should go to hell. Okay,
This is
so
a delicious casserole. Side note.
so speaking of things in your house that you don't need or having too much of something, a couple weeks ago I had a Walmart order that I was going to
Okay.
go pick up, and there were terrible storms that came through.
Okay.
Like tornadoes were touching down, it was a good old Dorothy situation. And
Welcome to
so,
Kansas.
welcome to Kansas. So, Tornado Alley. So, anyways, I was going to go pick it up, but then I'm like, I ain't driving in this, and who's delivering to my car in this mess, right? And so, I get on my app and I'm like, hey, how do I cancel this with the chat? They're like, yep, we've canceled it, whatever. So, the next day, go back to Walmart, picking up the same thing because I reordered everything, and they put both orders in my car. And so when I got home, I had like more bell peppers than any person will ever need. And they're all going to turn to brown mush. So the hacks work sometimes, but not always.
Well, so I started using the family calendar, like just in your phone, the Apple calendar. And so when kids had eye appointments or doctor's appointments or whatever, I would put the appointment and I would invite both my husband and the respective child to the appointment. So it's in the calendar. So I made the appointment. I did the first part of that load. And then once it's in the calendar, it's on you. If you, unless I'm taking you, great, then you're in luck. But if dad's taking you or you are getting yourself to the thing, you've been invited to it. If you didn't open it or you didn't remember, too fucking bad. It's not on me. It's not my fault. I did my part. So that was what I started to do, treating it like a meeting at work.
At what age is this like okay to do with your children?
Well, I think you could do it with Presley for sure, but I don't know about Colton. But Presley, you should be able to do it with. Like you
Mm.
put this tournament, this time, and you could put a departure time, right? Like we are leaving 8:30 Saturday morning. Be ready. I'm not
So I
reminding
shouldn't have to tell her 700 times to get up.
No, well, it's not your tournament. I'm like my favorite phrase is, well, the last time I blah 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 blah. My kids would be like, oh fuck, mom. Like the last time I had to get to soccer for 8:30. I got up at 8. It's not your soccer. Yeah, you're right. Oh yeah. So I'll be here in bed if you didn't get ready and you can't make it. It doesn't make you very popular, but you don't have to do it too many times because then they learn.
If you're the team admin, you have to be there because you have everyone's player
Well,
cards.
shit. See, you fucked it. This is your
Yeah, I
fault.
mean, I did. But I have to say, now that I have my kit, I have a total first aid, breakable ice things to put. I have wraps and everything stays in my bag.
Yeah.
And I have a bag. It's my soccer mom.
Does it have a handle though?
It's actually a backpack.
Of course, I love a backpack. If they start going out of fashion, too bad. I'm going to wear it like a fanny pack. I don't care.
Well, fanny packs are like in fashion,
They're
which
very in
I
fashion.
can't. I just can't. Also, too, having them cross, maybe because I have big boobs, but like having the bag that's like sitting up on your chest, like it just makes me look redonkulous.
Christy, you can loosen that so that it's not like at your boobs. It can go under your boobs.
I understand, but then it just when it goes under my boobs, it just makes my chest look
You
even
just have
bigger.
like
It just
one
again, where
accentuated
is your eye drawn, right? Where is your eye drawn?
So you're equating my fanny pack to your red lipstick.
Well, speaking of that red lipstick, I love that lipstick, and I don't know what its name is, but it should be "Who's That Bitch Red?"
Who's that bitch red?
Because I've either been crying or I'm about to throw the fuck down. And who's that bitch red when you have to remind yourself amongst all this mental load and all the crap that you're dealing with that you're a badass bitch.
That's right. I get your whole where's your eye drawn? And I seldom wear bright lipstick. I love it on other people. And then the minute I put on it, it's like dark nail polish. Same. I get so distracted. So if I'm on that Zoom call, I am making direct eye contact with my own mouth the whole time because I too am distracted by my own red lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what you can do, Kelly? We're not meant to look at ourselves all day on Zoom meetings. So there's a little button. It's in Teams too. But there's a little button that you hit that gets rid of your image.
Your image?
And so all you see is everybody else.
Oh my God. I've never even known that was the thing.
Yeah, it's actually not good for you. One of the exhausting parts about being in virtual meetings and when we were in COVID, when that's all you had, is that people, in addition to reading like what you're doing and what's happening, and so there's three things. One, what's happening in the meeting, the actual content of the meeting, people's reactions to what's happening in the meeting, and your ability to be able to pivot based on reading people. But then you're also looking at yourself. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah. You're right about that.
For the brain to do.
Because
I don't have any data on it.
Yeah, no, but it makes total sense.
Up.
One of the things that I do like about Zoom, besides the fact that you could like dress like a mullet and just be business on the top and a party on the bottom, is the ability to read the room much easier. Because that is one thing that I very much pride myself in being able to do, and to pivot and or to time out if I've observed something. Say, hey, quick, let's stop for a quick sec. Hey, Christy, you look like maybe you have a question, right? Like sort of managing the timing of the meeting. In Zoom, it's so much easier because everybody is just right there. So I don't have to like physically be looking around a big boardroom. I can be like, da, 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 I see you. So I do appreciate that, because otherwise in person, you're like scanning the room and trying to read everybody's mood. So anyways, a tangent, but I do like that.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, when was the last time I had to read a room? I don't know. I do that stuff naturally. I'm in the middle of 9 kids, right? I came out like of the womb negotiating and being like, is everyone okay? Are we good? Is everything fine? Like, did I piss you off? Are you okay? Am I getting my ass beat later? I don't know.
God, we might want to unpack that in a different episode.
I think we should. I have a therapist for that. He's fantastic.
Exactly. Okay, let's go back to the mental load, not to distract you from your therapist, but tasks, things that we can offload, because it really isn't just about the chores, right? It's about owning the thinking that goes behind the chores. How do we offload that part? Yes, this is a big pause.
Actually, so I don't think it's that hard. I think that, you just make like, okay, I say it shouldn't be that hard, right? Can one person be responsible for the dentist? One person be responsible for, doctor's appointments that are outside of just, oh shit, they're sick?
Yeah.
I think you can one person be in charge of school stuff, but I think what inevitably happens is it ends up being the mom.
Mom.
Which, I mean, again, this is no digs on men. I will say I had a moment, speaking of rage, I had a really good rage walk the other day because I don't know, an idiot. I signed my kids up to do 7:30 a.m. strength and conditioning in the summers where they run because I don't want to deal with all that energy all day. And I walked during this 40 minutes and I got a note from the company that does it and says, "Hey, remember we got a mom's workout over here on, field 5." And I'm like, it shouldn't fucking say mom's workout.
You've just assumed.
Well, but like also too, for the dads that I know with soccer, they do a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a lot of dads there. And so it pissed me off because I'm like, first of all, let's not assume it's the moms because maybe mom's in a meeting and maybe mom just got that in a meeting going, God, I'm failing yet again. I'm not there with my kids.
Yep.
maybe that's just me. But then also to all the dads that got that notice, it's like, what? We're here. Why can't we work out?
Yeah. That's true. You're right. You're perpetuating this sort of gender bias on who does those kinds of things. I think so. There's a girl on Instagram. Her handle is she is a page turner. Page like Paige. I love that. And so she does quite a bit about the mental load and marriage and parenting in a funny way. And she does show some statistics about men. And this is again to recognize that men do a lot more than they used to do, but that what they believe is the list of things that need to be done and how many other things are the iceberg under the water surface.
Oh yeah.
It's just underestimated. When they ask, do you do 50%? Like something like 80% of the men said, yes, I do 50%. And then they asked the wives and like 80% of them said, no, he doesn't. But some of the things that the men thought are the mental load were like playing with the kids and helping with homework and putting them to bed and making dinner, all amazing things to have your partner help with, but not really contributing to the mental load so much. Those are, again, tasks. So some of the other stuff like the booking of childcare and or the knowing that your daycare is closed on this day and you both have meetings and so you have to have backup daycare, all of that kind of thinking is not part of their brain yet. And I think they'll get there. I remember having a conversation with Andrew years ago and he very much was, I do 50%. And I remember
and
laughing.
You laughed in his face.
I laughed about it. And then it dawned on me. And I said to him, like, I think I cracked the code. The list of things to do that you are reading from is 20 items long. And you're saying, I do 10 of them. Yippee, I'm 50%. What you don't realize, the list actually has 9 more pages and it's 120 things and you're doing 10 of them. So I think those are the things that contribute to just frustration and rage. And again, we're generalizing saying in moms, but that's because I'm talking about my own experience. But I think that's part of it, right? It's not knowing. So I wonder if part of the strategies can be to sit down and in your situation, you don't have the partner to sit down to do it with, but maybe it is with the kids and just treat it like a team meeting, right? Like a State of the Union. Guys, I'm overwhelmed, or this is going to be a super busy month. There's a lot of things we've got to think about and just kind of lay it out for them. It's great that I don't want to remind you to make your bed, but you also have to remember to tell me when you ripped your sheets and I'm going to need to buy new ones. Like whatever it is that you're trying to get them to realize, it's the anticipation of what's coming that they also need to help offload. I don't know how.
Sorry, I'm laughing because when you talked about the sheets being ripped, just a quick sidebar that was like ended up being part of my mental load for the day. So my son is 6 and he still wets the bed, which is actually pretty normal apparently. Like, cause his body's growing, everything grows at a different rate, whatever. I mean, he does sometimes. It's you can't. So once in a while, my son says,
all had those moments
and he says, Mommy, can I sleep with you? And I said, of course you can, buddy. Cause like he's 6, like this is only going to go on for so much longer where he doesn't, in a couple years, he's like, I'm going to hug him and he's like, Mom, but he's still just little boy enough that he wants to snuggle me all the time, which I love. Anyways. So I wake up and Colton, I don't know how it got around his pull-up completely or if his penis was pointing in a different way, but he's wet the bed. He's wet my bed. Okay.
Okay.
And so and he's like, Mommy, I'm really sorry. He was so upset. And I was like, hey, buddy, it's cool. I got this. Meanwhile, I'm furiously pulling the sheets off and scrubbing my mattress because I don't want to have to replace this thing and I can't
Yeah.
stand the smell of old urine. And then I go upstairs to re-wake up my daughter for the 5th time. And I look in my son's room and the mattress is like, I hadn't made the bed again yet because the last time he peed. And there's a big wet spot there. The freaking dog
No.
had gone upstairs and peed on the bed.
Ugh.
And I'm just like, my morning was piss. Literally, I was like, like cleaning up piss all morning. And it's like, okay, let's switch. Okay, now we have to work. Okay, let's go from like, how was your morning?
Like
it was piss.
switching
My
gears.
morning was
Yeah.
piss.
I mean, it's better than shit, I guess.
Oh God. I don't even want to talk about that one time when the dog got left in her kennel too long. Like and I think it wasn't that she was left in her kennel too long. It's that one of my children left one of their plates somewhere that the dog could get to it. So she ate people food and then
Before
she
bed.
had the diarrheas while we were gone. And so I come home to a disaster of a kennel with like poop everywhere.
I feel like though it's just a limited time offer because at some point then you're on the other side of the scale and your people are older and then they're still going to we're back to pull-ups and shit and piss. I don't know. Did I ever tell you about my Great Danes and their runny tummies?
No, and I'm not sure if I want to hear about it, but
Well,
go
just
ahead.
imagine your sunny dog story in the crate, but amplify it to Great Dane size, and everything about a Great Dane is Great Dane size. And my poor first Dane Gunner, when he was a puppy, and we crate trained him during the day, as you do, because you want to keep your doors intact. He would have diarrhea, and he didn't want it in his crate, so he would like stand up and scoot his butt to the back.
Kelly, you're going to literally make me vomit. Like I'm feeling first trimester pregnancy vomit about to happen.
All I can say is his crate was in the basement. We have a walkout at our house, and you would come to the landing of the basement when you got home from work, and you just oh no. He would sniff and go, fuck, shit again today, and you'd have to wash a crate and a Great Dane and sometimes a back wall. The end.
Okay, I'm nauseous now. I really am. I'm not here for it. I'm sorry I even started down this line of
Yeah, you started
this storyline. Well, mine was about pee, okay? Which, I mean, gets whatever, it doesn't matter. Anywho, we were talking about before this little tangent, how do you offload that mental load? You know, I'm going to say something that's probably not popular. I think there's a lot of very evolved men, and I think that, you know, as we generationally things change, your brain chemistry changes based on we're always getting smarter. There's a study I'm going to find someday but it shows how it's been tracking generations for several generations, but it shows how much smarter every generation gets than the next. And so I think when it comes to, you know, the evolution of gender roles in marriages, and women are working now and we can't do everything, right? I think that some of it will just be generational because, you know, I don't think I ever saw my dad do a single dish, right?
Oh, I remember my dad doing the odd dish, but he never used dish soap.
So he rinsed it?
Yeah, basically. I'm like, the dish soap is right there. But and it was so unusual for him to be doing it. But I guess the thinking was we're 3 kids, so get the kids to do it. Which again, not I think more tasks are being done by men and dads and fewer are being done by kids. And some of it might be that they're overscheduled and they're busy doing other things, but some of it is we've just made this princess life for them and they're going to have a sharp dose of reality when they move out on their own.
I was talking to a friend about that a couple years ago, and she's like, I go back and forth. She's like, because on one hand, I want my kids to be children, and like adult life sucks enough. Like you're never going to be prepared for it. So I'm just going to pamper your little ass until you get old enough. And she's like, and then also teaching early responsibility. So growing up in the Diesel household, there were 9 of us. We had a dish sheet. We actually had a sheet that had a grid.
Like a schedule.
Well, you actually, when you did the dishes, you
Like
put
a
the
star
date
chart.
and
Okay.
so you put the date and what meal it was. And the rule was whoever was next on the list, right? So it turned into a competition though, because there are some dishes that are easier to clean. Breakfast was easier, lunch was easier, dinner was a bitch because Mary, good old Mary, cooked.
Catherine's making some casseroles and some Corningware going like, who's scrubbing that one?
I mean, but she made everything from scratch too, because we didn't have a lot of money. And back then, like making things was actually cheaper than, I don't even know if it is now anymore, than buying anything processed. Anyway, so she made everything from scratch. And there was usually about, there was always a couple extra kids around our table because no one noticed anyway. So I think she cooked for like 20 people for 20 years.
God.
And I know my mom, like now, so we're at this party tonight. She's like, hey, what do you want me to bring?
Napkins. I'll bring napkins.
But most of the time, she doesn't even offer.
She shouldn't have to.
Listen, I agree with you. I am like, Mary, you know
Bring
what?
nothing.
You should do nothing. You should show up and whatever beverage you want to have, because everything in my family has to be BYOB, because it's just nobody has that kind of money to
You're on your own.
to throw a just family who lives in town party that ends up being 25 people. And this isn't even like aunts and uncles. This is like siblings and their children.
Oh no, I mean, Christmas must be fun, but I'm with you, Mary Catherine. You shouldn't have to bring anything but your own fabulous self.
I agree.
And my grandma, Nanny, she would sit and hold court. That's what your mom should do. She should just sit in a chair and be like, bring me this stuff. Bring my drink, kiss my cheek, all the things. You're welcome.
Kiss the ring. She's like the Godfather. No, but going back to this dish sheet thing, my brother John was always such a jackass. He always like did the lunch, like, sandwich cleanup.
Tiny plates and that's it? And a couple of knives?
Yeah.
Sneaky.
And like, then, as a 10, I would get stuck with like,
Christmas dinner.
Chicken like mom fried some chicken, made some mashed potatoes and gravy, and then also made some asparagus and fresh bread.
You're like, I'll be
and
in
I'm
bed
like standing there 10 years old. I'm so overwhelmed.
No dishwasher, of course.
I don't even remember, Kelly. But I know the pots and pans and scrubbing those when I was 10. I still, so it's funny. I hate cleaning and I hate dishes. I like things to be clean, but I hate doing them because if you grow up as the middle of 9 children, you spent your life doing chores.
Yeah.
Period. Sure. End of story. There was no princess. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And please don't say you're bored, because your ass will end up outside picking up rocks. I'm not even kidding.
I have used that same your parents would have used. You're bored? I got something to get. I'll give you a list. I use that same. Oh, you're bored? I'll give you a list. I'm going to offload this mental load onto a piece of paper, and you're suddenly going to be bored of adulthood. That's what you're bored of.
Yeah. Presley, when she says she's bored because she has, 30 minutes where she's not doing something or talking to one of her friends or whatever, I'm like, cool, let's do this and let's do this. And she's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, wasn't really a question at this point. She's doing chores. She has to feed the dog.
That seems intuitive. She wanted the dog.
But you know how many times I have to ask her to feed the freaking dog? I'm like, so we're working on this. We started an allowance. And if I have to remind you more than once to feed the dog in a day, you're not getting your allowance. And she's like, for that day? And I'm like, no, for the week. This is an all-in proposition, sister. Also, you need to unload the dishwasher, which when I asked her to unload the dishwasher, you would have thought that taking her,
asked her to walk
you put her in my kitchen, my family's kitchen growing up, and there's pots and pans stacked up to the ceiling and more plates, and we definitely didn't use paper plates. I mean, I'm like, you have it so easy, kid.
I'm asking you to wash 3 cups and a couple of plates, rinse them and throw them in the dishwasher is what I'm asking you to do.
And put your clothes away, which it's like she takes, they're hung up, they're folded, just put them away.
Yeah, physically pick them up and put them in.
And they will end up in a freaking pile at the foot of her bed.
And then you don't know what's clean and what's dirty. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel like that went for a while.
No, it's okay. That's a universal truth. I remember when the boys had to do the dishwasher because Emery was quite a bit younger, so we don't need to have to replace all the glass. Thanks so much. So the boys, you do the dishwasher, and the very first time that they were meant to do it, we just said, "Hey, we need you to unload the dishwasher." Use your words carefully when you have sons, because they unloaded the dishwasher onto the counter. We came in and the dishes are dirty in the sink. The clean dishes are stacked on the counter and the dishwasher is fucking empty.
And now there's a weird scent in the kitchen because the teenage
Yeah.
boys were in there.
And this goes back to the mental load, and it'd be faster to just do it myself because clearly the instructions that I need to give you are longer than it takes to do the actual task I'm asking you to do.
Because when I say do the dishes, what I mean is unload the dishwasher, reload it, wipe down the cabinets, make sure everything's put away and clean, and either vacuum or sweep the kitchen, depending on what device you have available.
Now you're really pushing it. Wipe shit down? My God, no. I'll take what I can get. Wipe. And now I'm including everyone in my house in this shenanigan. But here's my girlfriend's plan. She's like, Kelly, then your other choice is you can just lower the bar. Lower the bar of expectation. How do you feel about that?
I feel like we lower, especially as women, and again, this is not a dig on men, it's just our reality. I think we have to lower our standards and our bar so much.
Yeah.
And not just in, what we do or don't do. How about the bar be lower for me?
Well, yeah, why can't your expectation of me be lower? Yeah.
Correct. Like I actually, once I did tell my ex and I was like, if this is what you expect me to do in a day, you're going to need to lower your standards or you're going to be pissed off every single day because there is no way in hell.
Yeah, I can meet that.
I can meet those expectations. And also, I don't even want to try. Like, I don't even want to try.
Well, especially if you know you're not going to meet them. You're like, why would I?
Because it's impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also, again, let's go back to Christy has ADD.
Yeah.
But if you give me enough time, I will finish all the tasks. I just might leave things along the way. I just need to go back through my tasks.
I do realize the irony of us trying to find solutions to cope with the mental load or spread it around. It's giving us more mental load, trying to figure out how to offload the mental load. When in fact, what we could do is work on the recognition of what it goes into making something seem seamless. And maybe just start with acknowledgement of, if I remember we went on a vacation and with 3 kids and we have, divorces. So we have other parents to organize. Like the whole thing becomes a little more challenging. And we get on this trip and something was forgotten, something small. And in the minds of the children, it was massive. And the moment that I snapped was that everything up to that point had been amazing. And this one little thing, oh, Mom, I can't believe you forgot that. And they fucking lost it because it was like, I just curated this amazing experience and this one thing. There were 700 other tabs open on this computer to get us here. And the one thing I missed is the string you're going to pull on. And I just unraveled. So maybe we could start with recognition in what it takes to make that princess life that you're creating for your child.
Yeah, I think recognition is important. I just want to go back to your story about the vacation you were talking about. So packing is a task. Guess what? All the other things that you had to do to get to the point of the vacation, you had to book it, you had to find it, what are we going to do every day? Do the scheduling, all of that mental load, which also has tasks, like a task is booking the hotel, right? But it's like all of that's not work. I don't understand that mindset where all of the other stuff isn't work. It's just the act of packing that's the work.
Yeah. Like all the rest of magical fairies made the rest of it happen with zero thought or tasks on Mom's part. Yeah, no, this was my point. I was like, the fact that you could get a family of 5 coordinated through X's and airports and nobody forgot urgent things like passports and ID and credit cards and all the hotels were reserved and whatever the fuck we forgot, it was probably a stuffed animal. But recognize how much work goes into doing that. And maybe once in a while, maybe give your mom a hug and say, thanks for that. That must have been a lot. We should just leave it there. I just want to fucking thank you.
I just want someone to like care. Like when I had my emotional breakdown on Mother's Day with Presley, and I'm like, I don't even feel like you care about me.
Exactly. Now you know. Now you recognize all those moments that your own mother did it to you, and you're like, "What's wrong with this woman?" You're here, and you're like, "Sorry, Mom."
Yeah.
If no one's told you lately, you're not crazy. You're just carrying too much. We should just give ourselves a little grace. Put that heavy fucking beach bag with no handle. Put that load down, or better yet, hand it over to fucking Colton. Next time Colton goes to hand you his ice cream sandwich wrapper, you should just trade. And
Here, hold this.
Here, hold this. I'll put yours. Sure, buddy. I'll put that in the garbage for you. Here, hold this.
Kelly, they didn't even want to carry their water bottles. So now their water bottles are in the bag that I'm holding. And it's like between the two of them, probably a gallon of water. I'm like, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. But I was very proud of myself because while I was so irritated, I could have thrown the bag on the floor and started stomping on things and screaming at the top of my lungs. By the time this happened, I didn't. And I was very calm. And we continued to have a good day.
So good on you. You're like, I crushed this one. But also, if you raged a little, that's okay. That's not, you're maxed out. Give yourself a little grace.
Okay.
You know, we should close. I mean, because we're coming on your magic hour where you always
Kelly, I wanted this podcast to be 35 minutes. I clearly have not met myself. I mean,
anyways, here's some words of wisdom for women and men and anyone feeling like they just have too much going on. You're not alone. The mental load is real. The rage is real. And so is your right to, quite frankly, hand over some goddamn responsibility.
Amen. Also, it doesn't all have to get done.
Also, what would happen if it didn't get done? Maybe not feed the dog, though. That should definitely get done.
Yeah, you know. I'm just kidding. Clean soccer jerseys, feed the dog. I'm just kidding. I feed her if I have to.
Right. You should definitely feed her, but not table scraps so that she poops.
Yeah, we don't do that. But I have switched her to a dry and wet dog food mix because that's what apparently they like better. And I'm a really sensitive smell person, and the smell of the wet dog food makes me gag, which is the honest reason I'm having Presley do it, because I'll almost hurl every single time I do it.
God, we got to work on some of this. Well, no, actually, I like that. You should keep that up if it means that Presley has to feed Sunny, but that makes me laugh a little bit. There are a lot of smells with having a dog that you may need to get accustomed to. And on that note, everybody,
I'm going to go puke. Have a great weekend.
Subscribe. We'll see you next time on Vertically Unstable, where we may be unraveling, but at least we're doing it together.
Yes, ma'am. Bye, Kelly.
Bye, Christy.